Hey guys, how's it going? Previously on the channel, I made a video, I want to say a couple weeks ago. I got some chainsaws off a neighbor friend of mine, and we kind of messed with them on the channel. Got a lot of interest in it. I was kind of surprised at how well that video did. So what I did was I went back over there, and I got some more. This one's kind of an interesting one. I've actually never seen one of these before until I went over there and got this. I looked at it. At first I thought it was just a Poland with a knockoff name, but he said it's more of a Husqvarna. I kind of did a little bit of research on it, and I think it is a Husqvarna. But again, to me, it really looked and seemed like a Poland. Ready to see what it is? The suspense is killing you. Come on. There we go. This is a Jonsord chainsaw, a two-stroke chainsaw, kind of like the other ones that I worked on. It's got a manual in here. I didn't even know that was there. What is that? That's cool. I'm guessing that this is the original case. All this, there's a couple of paper bags in here. I'm not sure what those were for, but I'll just throw that back in the case since that's, you know, where it was. I'm not sure if this is the original case. I don't see any labeling on it. I didn't even know that book was in there. I hadn't opened it or taken it out of there at all. I just looked at it. It's got a guard right here, as you guys can see. Really nice. Really a nice little saw. I mean, it's kind of big. Let's see if it has compression. Looks like it's got compression. It says turbo. I'm not exactly sure what that means, why it's called a turbo. I wonder if it has a turbo on it. Chain moves alright. It might be a little loose. I might end up wanting to adjust it. It's got a chain brake on there, which, oh well. This one's not that old. It's not as old as my other saws. It doesn't look too bad. I mean, this one definitely could be fun. Here's a number plate. 45626. Wonder if that's a model or serial. Popped another battery in the camera. Apparently it died on me. But I mean, this saw just, it looks so much like a Poland to me when I looked at it. Here's your choke, power switch. I guess this is, what is this one? This one's gas. There's your bar oil. Let's check the gas. It's empty. Doesn't smell. And there's still a line in there. That line looks actually fine. I don't know if you guys hear that. That's the weight. It's still connected. That line doesn't feel terrible. I mean, it feels pretty good. Someone drained the gas out of it, which it could be a good thing or a bad thing. I'm hoping it's not a bad thing. It has compression. So, I mean, it can't be... Well, I guess it could be someone ran it out of oil and just drained it. It's got a little bit of oil in there. It's not full, but it's not empty. There's a little bit in there. This chain, I don't know how long it's been since this saw has run. Let me go grab some fuel and let's throw it in there and let's see what it does. Maybe it'll start up and be like the other saws were. If it is, well, I got two more to play with. Probably not going to end up running this one extensively like how I ran the other saws that I did. I might, but again, I might not. I'll probably just start it up, make sure it runs. I got somewhere I'm going. You guys will find out here whenever I get over there and start recording. I'm not telling you guys where I'm going or what I'm taking with me. But I got some stuff to do and I need the chainsaws, so that should be a hint. And I need the tractors, so there you go. That should be a good hint for you guys. I might put a little bit of oil in the bar, but I might just leave it be for now. I just want to make sure it runs well. Let's put a little bit in there, you know. It never hurts to have a little bit of oil in there. You don't want to go in dry. I'm not going to fill it up full, but I'm going to put enough in it just to know. I do want to make sure the oiler works. So, there we go. That should be more than enough. Does this machine have a primer is my next question. Does it? No. I would imagine the carb's right here. Speaking of the carb, we need to pull this off or find out how to get to the air filter. I think it's under this. So that's probably what we need to take off to get to it. It does seem like a pull-in though, but it is a Husqvarna, I guess. But I don't know, the way that it seems to be set up, it really reminds me of a pull-in. Pull-in, pull-on, whatever you call them, I don't know. I haven't had anybody get on me about it yet. Let's see. But I've heard other people that have had people get on them for how they set it. Okay. That's covered in sawdust. So right there is our air filter. Is that covered in sawdust? That might be a pre-filter. That don't look too bad. What do you guys see? Do you see everything? Yeah, you do. Cool. Here and here, I think that takes off the air filter. So let's pop that off. I know a lot of you guys probably want me to start working on the tractors again. I'm trying something a little different right now. I'm taking a little bit of a break. Let me know what you guys think. I like messing with other stuff too besides the tractors. And you know, it gets kind of boring just having tractors on the channel, you know. I kind of like messing with other stuff, kind of like this, so that's what I'm doing for a little bit. We'll go back to the tractors here soon, I promise. But, you know, I want to get some videos of some other things. Let's pump that out a little more. There we go. That's our filter. That actually doesn't look bad, I guess. It looks fine. So I can't really complain about it. I think I'm putting this back on here the right way. Trying to get these to get out of the way. Here we go. Where you're supposed to be. Well, that kind of went up. Didn't do what I wanted it to do. There we go. So now I guess we'll put this top cover back on, and once we do that we can assess everything and see where we end up. We can see if it'll start. I don't see a primer, so I guess there's no primer on this one. So I guess we'll just work with that. Choke, I think choke is out. That's on. I don't remember how many pulls I gave the other ones. I'm just gonna go. And if I decide I'm tired, then well, I'm done. Uh-oh, it's not starting. I don't even hear it trying to start. We might have a problem. Let's see, what do we want to check first? Finally, a project. Let's take the... Actually, I think in is unchoked. Let's try and pull it over a few times not choked, and then I'll try to pull the throttle. Let's try pulling the throttle. Alright. Let's pop this cover back off. And let's assess the plug. Let's see if it has spark. If it does, wonderful. And we'll also check that plug. We'll see if that plug's wet or not. Alright, how did I get this off before? Come on. There we go. It's got one of the small plugs on it. It is 3/4. If we can get it to go, it is. Okay. Ow, damn. That was tight. That actually looks fairly good. That was running good. It's not wet, it's dry. There's a piston moving in there. Seeing if that'll help it drawing fuel. Let's see if it has spark. Where would be a good place to put this plug? Right there, let's see. It does have spark, and it sparks pretty good. So let's see what we want to do now. Let's put some gas in it, in the top end, and let's see if it'll fire. And if it will fire, if it'll stay running. And if it stays running, then we'll just have to or if it stays running after I put fuel in it, that means that gas ended up getting up there after it ran a little bit. I probably flooded it, which is not intentional. If it stays running, that means that it's getting fuel now and it just needed help starting. It needed primed. If it doesn't stay running, we got a problem and we've got to get into it deeper. Ready? Shit. I think I might have flooded it. Maybe. I would think it would have started. Okay, that's interesting. Why didn't that start? Switch is on. That should have started. Plug's still wet. I mean, there's still gas sitting in there. Let's try pulling it again. Make sure it is spark still. Maybe we'll try another plug. Yeah, it still has spark. Maybe I put too much gas in it. That could be it. I feel like it should have at least tried to start. Well, I think there was a little bit of chain oil in that. That could be why. Let's put a little, not as much as I did before, in there. That's probably good enough. And let's see if it will take, and if it will, then we know it's a carb problem. If it doesn't take off, then we got to figure out what's going on. Ready? There it goes. I thought. It's trying. So it seems like it's running off the tank. It stayed running. Let's see if it'll start back up. I would have to hear it in order to really... Unless it's running off of what was in the crankcase. That could be. My switch is off. Let's try again. Damn it. I wonder if I flipped the switch off and that's why it died. we have a line problem. I can't really see. I hope that's a vent. Let's put some gas in it. And let's see if it will take back off. I did put a lot of gas in it earlier. That might have went down to the crank. I guess I shouldn't have pissed with it. I should have just let it sit there and run for a minute. I forgot that was there. I wanted to make sure it was disengaged. Let's start it back up. That diaphragm could even be dried out now that I think about it. We might have to look into that carb. Tighten that up some. Let's see if we can get it to start back up. If we can, I'm going to let it sit there and run for a little bit before I try throttling it like I did. Ready? There it goes. Yeah, see, and the switch is still on. It's just running off of what I put in it, and then it dies. Let's go ahead, I guess, and we will pop that carb off, and let's just give it a look. We might as well, since we're already into it this far, just go on ahead and, you know, pop this off and assess it and see what we can find. But it doesn't, it almost seems like it's not getting gas. I mean, it wants to run, you can tell. It's got spark and everything to run. But you know, unfortunately, it just wasn't taking off. No. I need a bigger one of them. Do I have a bigger one of them? I think I do. Yeah, I got a bigger one of them. Not that one. I'm going to jump down 2 sizes. That one. So did that. Oh, that takes the whole thing off. Oh well, I guess. I was kind of hoping it didn't, but well, I guess it does. I should have just said, let's revisit this one and check out the other 2. That way we can get them in and figure out, yeah, right there. See that line? That line's unhooked. You know what? Let's see what is... These lines, I mean, they don't look bad. I wonder if it just got unhooked. I had seen that and I thought, well, maybe that's a vent. This is really squeezed in here, isn't it? Oh, right there's a... Hold on a second. Come on. Go where you're supposed to be. Is it going to? We could put that... If it's just a damn line came unhooked, you know, that's not hard. It would be an easy... Let's see if we can get it. Let's just screw this back in here real quick and let's see if we can get it to... Oh, if you screw that back in with this little cover here, that's not going to work out. Because it's just going to close that gap. This other screw out. If I can, there we go. Maybe. There we go. Come on. There. What's this hooked on to? Well, apparently this doesn't want to come out. I can't really get to it all that well to see. Is it on? No. That won't go on there. No, I can't get this out of here. Maybe that helps. How does this come out? When it's done. My only concern is if I take this out, am I going to be able to get it hooked back up? There we go, we got it out. Okay, I see what the problem was. It wasn't hooked up to the fuel line, because this appears to be the only line that hooks up to anything in here. But you know, since we have this thing out, I see. Since we have the carb out of it, let's just take a peek at it, and let's just assess it. It never hurt to assess something, you know, and just kind of make sure that it's good. Let's pop the, what do we want to pop off here first? I'm tempted just to put it back in. Let's take the diaphragm off and let's see what the diaphragm looks like. And, you know, just look at it and make sure that it looks okay and that it's not hard. If it's not hard, we should be able to use it over again. If it's hard, then we might just have to order a new one and replace it. Man, this saw might turn into its own video. Let's see, can we get this to come off? I don't really want to replace anything yet. I'd like to just see, you know, how it is at first before we throw anything at it and start replacing stuff, just to find out, you know, what failed. Because I don't know, it's cool to, you know, mess with it and see just what failed. So I'm looking at this. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that diaphragm. I'll let you guys see what the diaphragm looks like. That's a diaphragm. It moves perfect. There is no reason to take that out. I'm going to put this back in. I just moved it a little bit. It moved. That diaphragm looks on. It looks like someone's been in this carb. That looks great. I'm going to put this back together. I'm not even going to try taking it out of there because I moved it. It moved good. It really... I'm surprised at how good that diaphragm moved. It didn't seem like it was, and plus I don't want to rip it because I don't have another one, but it seemed like it was pretty flexible. It should work once some fuel gets up to it. Man, these screws are microscopic compared to the big carbs that I mess with. I'm not used to messing with these little guys. Let's pop these both back in. I'm not going to mess with any of the jets. You know, I'm not going to mess with any of the adjustments. I'm just going to leave it right where it is. And we're just going to see, you know, how it runs and if it runs good or if it seems to have problems. I might end up moving over there. Did it go in this way? I think this is the way it went. This one back here was the throttle. This one was the So now we just got to hook this fuel line back in. Yeah, somebody's been in here because this fuel line, I think this fuel line has been replaced, looking at it. I don't know why it's not on here. Maybe somebody was messing with it and ended up just losing interest in the whole thing completely. Let's see if we can get this card back out. There we go. Let's just see if we can get the stock back up under here. I can throw some heat at it. That is the one that comes from the tank. I feel like somebody put a too small of a line on any of this. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm wondering. Did somebody put too small of a line on here? Let me grab a chair. We have moved locations from the desk to over here. Let's see if we can get this to go on here. I don't know why it's being such a pain in the ass. Is it on? What I could do is I could try to stick something in there to widen it a little bit. Leave it in there for a little while and make this stretch, and then it might work, but I don't want to rip that line. I think someone put too small of a line on here is what I'm... Did it go? I think it did. No, maybe it didn't. Come on, damn it. Go on. Shit. What do I have around here that I could use? Do I have anything? Maybe this will work. Just stick that in. It might be too big. Just kind of stick it in here and see if it'll expand that. There we go. Never mind. And that fell and I'm not picking it up. Unless there's another one in here. Oh, there is. Look at that. There. Let's let that sit in there and expand that for a minute. And while we do that, let's just kind of take a peek in here and look at things. So for those of you wondering, why does this not have a float ball on the bottom of it, kind of like how a other carb does, like what's on your push mowers or riding mowers or garden tractors, like this. As you can see, that's a float ball. The way that a two-stroke engine works compared to a four-stroke engine is in the bottom of the engine block in the crankcase where the crank is. Instead of this engine having valves, this engine takes two strokes. There is a reed valve inside of here at the end of that goes into the crankcase. When this piston goes down, it closes that reed valve, causing it not to draw in any more fuel from the carb. And as it's coming down, it's pushing fuel out of the crankcase and up into the cylinder for it to be ignited by the spark plug. And while it's bringing all that new fuel in, it's pushing out all the exhaust gases out through this exhaust. And the piston starts coming back up. As the piston starts coming back up, that reed valve opens and it brings fuel in from the carburetor, and also air goes into the crankcase. And after that gets in there, this goes up top dead center, goes down, ignites, and the cycle repeats. That's why they call it a two-stroke. Two strokes don't have crankcases to hold oil, Instead it holds gas plus an oil mix. The gas and oil mix is what lubricates the engine, where in a 4-stroke engine it would have the crankcase down below would be full of oil, and it would have valves up here on the top of the cylinder. Or if you have an L-head engine, it would have valves up here in the top of the head. Not top of the head. I guess that would be top of the cylinder. The overhead valve engines would be in the head. So that is how one of these motors work, for those of you wondering. Let's take... do I want to do that yet? Has that expanded enough, in my opinion, to work? Let's just go on ahead and try it real quick. Just got to get it over here before it shrinks. Did it go? Yes, it did. Let's try that. And let's see. But yeah, I mean, this line is brand new. That looks new. It's not falling apart on me or anything, which is surprising. Usually these old lines, when they get to a certain age, they start to fall apart on you. Let's run it around like how it was run before. Hopefully it will draw in fuel as well as air. Hopefully this will bring in fuel. But the crankcase pressure that it pulls when the reed valve opens moves that diaphragm inside of the carb, and that is what moves that diaphragm, and when that diaphragm gets moved, it brings fuel into the carb as well as air. I'm sure somebody else could explain that better than I can, but that's about the best description, you know, I can give of it. So let's get this carb put back in here, and after we put that back in there, I feel like it's missing something. I think there's supposed to be a thing that comes off that carb that goes to the oiler for the chain, but I might be wrong. So let's go, and let's put that back since that goes in here. There we go. And let's put this, come on. I can't see. There we go. Need a magnifying glass just about in order to work on one of these. Let's see, is that it? Are we cross-setting? No, we're going in. Cool. And then we'll grab our other screw and we'll put it in as well. I probably should take this, so I should have stuck it in there actually before I put it in the saw. I do not want to move it too much, but I do want to get this in there. Hopefully our gasket and everything in there is okay after opening it like I did. I know it said don't open till Christmas, but I wanted to look and see what I was getting. Let's take that and let's try to run it through here. Did it work? Where's the hole for the thing to go through? It is... It should be okay, threading it in into there. And I shouldn't have to, but there it goes. Let's find, is that it? It's angled up. I don't want it angled up. There we go. I think this one, yeah, that one's going where it needs to be. I don't want that getting pinched. Is that going in? Yes. That's tight. Click. There, tight enough. Let's go on ahead, and I'm going to take it back over to that other table, and after I do that we will go on ahead and try and start it and see what it does. So in my assessment, I think what happened here with this chainsaw is somebody rebuilt that carb. I mean, it looked like someone had definitely been in there, looking at how good that breed valve, or whatever you call that diaphragm looked. I looked at that and I thought that looks too good for it to have been sitting very long. So I wonder if somebody at some point got into this saw and they replaced the fuel line, and they also went in there and did some carb work to it, and they went to start it, and that fuel line came unplugged when they were putting the carb into the saw, and they tried starting it, but the saw wouldn't start, so they just gave up on it and got rid of it. Is this gonna tighten up? That's kind of what I'm wondering. I'm wondering if that's what happened or something else happened. But I think someone was definitely into this saw and they tried working on it, or they worked on it and they got it, but they must have gave up on it after it wouldn't start. So let's go on ahead and let's pull it over a few times and let's just see what it does. Ready? Oh, well, there you go. I was going to say, well, that started up too quick. Let's pull it over a few times and let's see if it starts. I don't see any fuel in there yet, but again, we haven't really pulled it over all that much. Ready? There it goes. I would say we've got it. I'm going to let it warm up for a little bit. I'm going to put this cover back on it though. That way the engine can breathe. But yeah, I would say we've got it. So let's go on ahead and let's put this cover back on here. I'm going to let it sit outside and run for a little while. If it doesn't end up clearing up, then we'll dig back into it and we'll see if we can maybe get it running better. But I'm going to let it sit out there and run. That'll give it some time to tick that oiler and make sure that oiler works good. So yeah, come on. But yeah, I didn't see a turbo in there when I took it apart, so I wonder why they call it a turbo. But yeah, I would say it started up good and it ran fairly well once we messed with it. So I'm going to put the saw outside and I'm going to let it run for a while. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to go on ahead and decide if I'm going to make this its own video or if I'm going to include it with the other two saws. I guess we'll see. Let's see if it'll start back up. It better. Awesome. I'll be back. Well, I'm having problems with this one now. It did run really good, but then all of a sudden it just kind of died. And I'm not sure what's going on with it now. So I guess let's go on ahead and let's pop this top cover back off and let's see what happened. I don't think it has a safety in it that tells it if it's out of bar oil. I don't think it's out of bar oil. I'm wondering if that might have got pinched actually, now that I'm thinking it. Top one. That looks fine. That's in there tight, right? Yeah, that's in there tight. Let's see if it'll start now. I think that line was plugged. Alright, I think I know what happened. That line got kinked. So I guess we'll have to find a way to run it where it's not plenty of room in there. I don't know why it kinked. Because it only seemed like it was having issues when I stuck this cover back on it. It didn't have any problems before. So that's kind of what made me wonder about it. Let's see if it'll start, and if it'll start, if it'll stay running. If it does, well, we know what the issue is with it. We might have to take the carb back off and fix it. Bring you back if it dies. Well, let's give this saw a shot and let's see how it does cutting wood. If it does good, well, I don't really need it around here. I've got 2 other ones, so I'll probably go on ahead and sell it. But if it doesn't cut that well, then I guess we'll have to look into it. But it seems to run fairly well. Needs a carb adjustment. I adjusted it on camera, but apparently my camera must have shut off, or I must not have gotten it. Oh well, let's give it a shot. Alright, let's see what it... God damn it. Let's see what it does now. That definitely needs a better chain. It definitely needs adjusted too. Let's try again. Maybe it'll do better. Like I said, it hasn't run in a while. Interesting. Might have to adjust that carb, and I might have to tighten that chain. It seems kind of loose. Well, I tightened up that chain and I adjusted the idle. Let's see if we can get it to cut better. Yes. Interesting. Well guys, I think that is going to be it for the Jonsord. I messed with it some more, and I messed with the throttle adjustment or the carb adjustment a little bit. I ended up getting it to run a lot better. Unfortunately, it started raining on me. I was out there cutting with it. I wasn't filming it. I was just kind of messing with it, trying to see if I could get the saw to run better. And unfortunately, it started to rain on me, so I just kind of brought it in. And well, here's where it sits. It's definitely going to need the chain sharpened and or replaced. I did try messing with it, like I said, but I think the wood that I was out there cutting, I'm starting to wonder if that's pressure treated wood or not. Either way, I think that chain should have cut it. But I adjusted the chain and everything. I also adjusted the adjustment, like I said, for the carb. And for whatever reason, like I said, it's just not cutting. I think it's because of that chain though, like I said. So yeah, I want to thank all you for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe. I'm thinking I'm just going to make this its own video. I'm going to say we're just going to make this its own video. So yeah, let's go on ahead and let's end the video here. And I want to thank you all for watching. Take care. Bye.